The second trailer for the Super Mario Bros. Movie is very much the Princess Peach trailer, and the internet is abuzz with discussion over how Peach is no longer the damsel in distress we've seen countless times in games, but is now an actual leader. While it is really too early to make assumptions about Peach's role in the film, yes, it is nice to see her do something other than bake cakes and get kidnapped. That said, it isn't entirely without precedent. This is another aspect of Mario lore that we've seen in cartoon form before. Many of us remember the various DiC animations of the 90s and the more active role that Princess Toadstool plays in a lot of the episodes. Yes, she gets captured a lot, but she is not above, for example, running for election against King Koopa, proving her chops not just as a damsel in distress, but as a legitimate politician. In my previous video on the movie, I noted the importance of Mario's Brooklyn accent. It's been confirmed through leaked posters that Mario and Luigi are from the real-world Brooklyn in the new movie. You can even see the Brooklyn Bridge towering over one poster. I can't help but conclude that there must be a lot of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show in the mix with this film, and that includes Princess Peach's role as something more than a MacGuffin or a pretty lamp to be rescued. This makes tremendous sense from a narrative perspective. Shigeru Miyamoto's guiding principle with Mario has always been to paint in broad strokes from a story perspective, and allow characters to be blank slates, all the better to let players project their own gameplay experiences onto the story. Is Mario a hyper-competent superhero, or a bumbling hapless fool who's just barely scraping by? That all depends on how you, the player, play the game. Similarly, rescuing Princess Peach doesn't really represent anything beyond a goal to work towards. Are Peach and Mario romantically involved, or is Mario simply helping out a friend in need? It's up to you to decide, although certain story beats do hint at it one way or the other. The problem with adapting these empty vessel characters to the big screen is that without a narrative arc for the characters, without personal growth or lessons learned, a story told through passive media feels like it lacks something. This is ultimately the problem with a lot of video game movies, and it's why it's so important, for example, for Sonic the Hedgehog to learn and relearn the power of friendship. Thus, Mario needs to start out getting his face smushed by Donkey Kong before learning to use a fire flower and eventually defeating Bowser. It's satisfying to see a film character grow and progress in a way that's not as necessary in games when it's actually the player that is growing and progressing. Peach then needs to be something more than an object to be obtained. She is not, to quote another princess, just some prize to be won. Indeed, the Disney formula of presenting princesses as heroic, capable masters of their own destiny is well established, not just in terms of how well it builds a story, but also how much merchandising you can sell, and that's probably an element here. The problem, the concern with making Peach a capable leader of an army of toads, is it runs the risk of falling into a common movie trope, one which is particularly common in animated films. She's got shades of Gwen Stacy from Into the Spider-Verse or Wild Style from the Lego Movie. She's the well-trained, knowledgeable, brilliant woman, but this isn't her movie. These female characters are inevitably sidelined by the hapless heroes who need to overcome a fatal personality flaw. The problem with these kinds of competent female characters, and we see these a lot in Disney films too, is that there's really nowhere for them to go, no lesson for them to learn. Princess Jasmine, Belle, Rapunzel, Tiana, Pocahontas, these characters often come into the story already knowing everything they need to know to fulfill their role in the narrative, and then end up being supplementary to a male hero who actually has to learn a lesson. This being the case, while it's fun to see Princess Peach actually displaying something akin to personal agency, I won't be surprised if at some point in the film she still ends up being captured by Bowser in desperate need of rescue. The trailers for this film are so filled with visual references that there's no way the creators will be able to resist a scene with Mario and Bowser fighting on a bridge, while Peach is either being held in Bowser's arms or trapped in a cage somewhere to the left of all the action. In the meantime, we do know that the film has at least one damsel in distress, and that damsel's name is Luigi. This is perfect, because unlike Mario and Peach, Luigi is allowed to have a clearly defined personality within the games. He's not a blank slate that the player needs to project onto, he wears his heart on his sleeve, because he is a tremendous coward. No, that's not fair. He's not actually a coward. Far from it. He is the opposite of a coward. Because Luigi's defining attribute is the fact that he is scared a lot of the time, yes, but he gulps down his fear and does the right thing anyway. What's interesting is that participating in Luigi conquering his fears often makes him more relatable to the player, more human, more capable of emotional investment than Mario the blank slate designed for maximum relatability. See also Wario and Waluigi. People often appreciate being given some eccentricities they can latch onto. It's no wonder people are responding so strongly to seeing Princess Peach display a bit of literal fire. This could very well end up becoming the definitive Peach in fans' minds. But how, short of a trip to a haunted house, do we get Luigi's Mansion vibes into the film? Do we let Luigi similarly show his core personality? Why not have Luigi captured by Bowser? Problem solved. He gets to be terrified and traumatized just as audiences want him to be. and he's in the right place to have a heroic moment in the final act of the film. At least that's how it looks from trailers at this point. This is, after all, purely speculative. None of us mere mortals have any idea of the content of the full film, and it's difficult to know based on a few short minutes of heavily edited content exactly what kind of characters we'll see in the movie. We won't know for certain until the film is in cinemas. Any guesswork before that is merely guesswork.